Hello, folks. Coming to you from the Humble Harv Virtual Memorial Broadcast Center in rural Mojave County, Arizona. This is Coffee and or Beer with the Author. I'm military science fiction author H. Paul Hunsinger. And I'm coming to you, recording this on the wee hours of 28 March 2020, which I hope is at or near the peak of coronavirus hysteria and panic and fear and other kinds of international brouhaha. I hope. I'd like to talk about a couple of things here tonight. First, I want to talk about the general situation, and then I want to do the usual thing that I have been doing with these recordings, even though it's been a very long time since I've been doing them. Okay, well, first about the general situation. Here's something that I wrote a few days ago when I was responding to the cancellation of a science fiction convention that I was hoping to attend. And I think it relates to just about most folks who would be watching this tonight. And although reading something out loud is generally not considered good video, I'm hoping that some of you are actually patient enough to benefit from this and sit through it. So please bear with me. I think this is something that is relevant. Otherwise, I wouldn't be inflicting it on you. As Thomas Paine famously wrote, "These are the times that try men's souls." Except for using language that arguably excludes women, I find that sentiment as applicable to our times as it was in December 1776. I'm no expert on virology or epidemiology, so out of my lifelong refusal to comment on matters of life and death in fields in which I lack credentials and experience, I will refrain from making any predictions or factual analysis regarding the present situation. But, as do all novelists, I arrogantly consider myself to be an expert on humans and the human condition, so I will impose upon you the following brief observation in that regard. Our genres, and remember I'm writing to a science fiction, horror, fantasy type convention, our genres are overwhelmingly genres of hope. In our books, comics, graphic novels, visual films, TV programs, games, and other creations, we nearly always find that the plucky and creative humans repulse the alien threat. We find that stout-hearted defenders of freedom defeat the evil stellar fascists, that two hobbits and an outnumbered allied army overthrow the mighty Sauron. The quirky genius expert on ancient Babylonian texts and the few stalwart friends send the Lovecraftian eldritch horror back to the pit from which it repulsively slithered, and the elderly but resolute Professor Van Helsing and a brace of grim-faced but terrified Victorian gentlemen drive the stake through Dracula's heart, thereby saving Mina from eternity as a seductively deadly creature of the night. Hope shines through our literary DNA as a light that no amount of fear or horror or darkness can extinguish. So let it shine in our hearts. If Winston Churchill were with us today, he might say something akin to what he said on June 12, 1941. Lift up your hearts. All will come right. Out of the depths of sorrow and sacrifice will be born again the glory of mankind. Well, old Winston sure knew how to put some words together. Now a few words about my present situation. Everybody wants to know when the next book's coming out. I wish I could tell you. Since the publication of the last major novel in the series, I've had serious heart problems. I've had 4 operations. I've had various other issues with sleep apnea, with hypothyroidism, with I have stage 3 kidney disease, which is causing me some difficulties, and any number of other problems that tend to scramble the old neurons. I'm doing the best I can. I put out a few pieces of small fiction, short fiction, but maintaining the focus and the level of complexity of thinking to process the kind of novels that I write is not something that the brain does easily. It was hard work when I was firing on all thrusters, and it's extra hard work now. So I'm fighting my way through it, and I hope that my health sustains itself in order to finish this book within a reasonable period of time. There is every reason to believe that I'm getting better. I think the fact that I'm making this video now when I was declining to do so because, well, I just didn't look very good and didn't want to give people the notion that, there might not be Harvey Paul Hunsinger around for much longer. Well, I'm going to be here for a long time. I'm hanging in there. My health is returning. It's getting stronger, and my mind is getting clearer, and things are working better. And so I have every intention of getting this book and several more books done. I have the urge to create. I have more stories to tell, and I am intent. I am dedicated. I am ferociously committed to telling them. So be assured that I will tell them. It may take a while, but they will be told, and I am going to get it done. So I ask for your indulgence. I ask for your patience. I ask for your prayers, because I need all the help I can get. But gosh sakes, it's gonna happen, folks. It's gonna happen, okay? Now, I thought I might answer a few reader questions. I actually get those. In fact, I solicited them on Twitter and got a couple of good ones. And I've had a few other ones kind of floating around that I've written down in my notebook, but forgot to attribute to the questioner. So my forgiveness to the people who asked these good questions, because I'm not trying to omit credit for you. It just happened that way. All right, Armando Duarte Galan, I hope I said that correctly with the right accent. I practice these things, in Colombia, asked me, here's my question. Given that most of the world is now trying to entertain ourselves, he wrote this on March 23rd of this year. From a writer's perspective, you and your wife, how have your works helped you weather out this slowdown in the economy? This given that most people can't really work from home. Well, you hit the nail on the head right there. We get to work from home. We've always gotten to work from home. So being told to work from home is not a change in our routine. It's the same old for us. The only change in our lives that has been brought about by this event is the difficulties involved in getting provisions into the house and buying the same food in the same quantities from the same places that I have been buying for years. Suddenly I'm not able to do that. So I have to go to multiple stores to find certain things. And fortunately, we had a reasonable supply of toilet paper when that became short. And, can't get rice, can't get Ritz crackers, can't get fresh meat, can't get a lot of things. But I'm a skilled and creative cook. I can find stuff in the frozen food section. I can find stuff that a lot of other people are passing over. And I say, ooh, I can get 4 bags of this? Aha! Well, I know what to do with this stuff. I've got 4 bags of frozen chicken thighs. I can make all sorts of wonderful stuff with that. So, we're getting by okay. The only really significant way this is hurting us is book sales are down. By down, I don't mean down by 25% or 30%. I mean down by 85 or 90%. It is a significant drop. And if things stay the way they are, then financial stuff is not going to be good in the Hunsinger household. But my hope is that within the next few weeks, if people aren't starting to go out and do things, they will at least start to get bored and will want to start reading more again. And that the panic will ease with the stimulus package that just hit the economy, and then as a result, things will start getting bought and sold. I'm also hoping that over the last year, the royalties from my books having been published in native languages in France, Poland, and Japan, and by native languages I don't mean primitive native languages, I mean the languages of those homelands by publishers in those countries, in addition to the worldwide availability in English through Amazon and its affiliates, that the royalties from those sales, which have been accumulating over the year, will get paid. I have no idea what those might be. I have no idea how well those books sell in those countries. I don't get reports or anything. I just occasionally get a little money. So I'm hoping that perhaps a little money will roll in the next month or so that will help fill in that gap. So that's how the crisis is affecting us. That and worry. My family, by family, I mean my mother, my sister, my brother-in-law, my nephew, various aunts, uncles, cousins, many of whom are very dear to me, are in Louisiana, which is hard hit. No, they are not in New Orleans. They live in Calcasieu Parish and in Acadia parishes. But there are significant numbers of cases in those areas as well. And I have an elderly mother who's had a stroke and has had lots of respiratory problems through her life. And I'm very concerned about her. She just turned 80. I'd like her to hang around for a while. So we all have relatives in places that, for most of us at least, are hit by this. We all have people who we are worried about. And that touches all of us. Every one. It is one of the things that unites virtually everyone in the human race tonight. It's a shame of all the things that divide us. We have that thing to unite us, that fear, that tragedy. I hope it brings us closer together. Moving on, I have a wonderful question from a reader who I believe is in Italy, a Mr. Fialo Holger, who sent me a very nice picture of his cat that I'm afraid I can't show you. It will be nice to know about the next book. I am just listening to the first Man of War book and doing the second one. Bella, that's the name of his cat, likes it. She is not too crazy about the cat in the books, though. Here is a nice picture of her. Well, like I said, I don't know when the next book is going to be out. Just be assured that I am working on it and that I am very dedicated to making sure that it happens. It's a story that I want to tell, that I'm very intent on telling, and I'm going to do my very best to bring it to you as fast as I can bring it to you. The hat. Why am I wearing the hat? I'm sure some people of you are asking. First, I like the hat. I don't know, I just do. I come from a long line of Texas cattlemen on my father's side of the family. They wore hats. I never had a hat that I looked good in. Well, I think I look kind of okay in this one. Also, just got a haircut, and so, the light's kind of bouncing off my scalp and highlighting exactly how gray all my hair is, because I did turn 60 in January, so, maybe it makes me look a little younger. I don't know, because it covers up the gray hair. Or maybe I just like it. Who knows? All right, next question. This is one of the anonymous questions, and I don't know who posted it. I'm sorry, I can't find it. Anyway, this individual, I think it was a female reader, the more I think about it, wants to know, are the Vaaach like the crag? Descended from Earth life? You give a hint in The Hunters of Vermin when you say that the teacher's stew smelled like food to Max, and that might explain something of the Vaach's attitude toward humans. Well, I'm going to let you guys in on something. Viewers of this video will learn before the readers get it spelled out to them. The answer is yes. The Vaaach are biologically related to humans. They, like the Crag, are descended from Earth life that was transplanted to their home world 11 million years ago for reasons that I have not yet articulated in the books. So yeah, they are related to us, and that might be one of the reasons why they have a sort of paternal attitude toward us. One might ask, if they are descended from life at the same time, that was seeded at the same time that the Crag and what were, why are they so far advanced of us? Well, that's pretty easily explained. First, 11 million years is a long time if you just happen to get a few breaks go your way, and a couple of breaks don't go our way, then you would wind up ahead of us. Plus, you have to remember, as I made clear in the books, the technological civilizations in our part of the galaxy were censored by an advanced civilization. Basically, every advanced civilization, or every civilization that got to the Industrial Revolution before about 1700 was wiped out by these people for millions of years. So all of the technological civilizations evolving in our part of the Orion Sagittarius arm of the Milky Way galaxy are at about the same technological level. Us, the Crag, the Phalone, the Trinian, etc., etc. The Vaaach are not from the Orion Sagittarius arm of the Milky Way galaxy. They're from I'm suddenly drawing a blank, the next arm coreward from us. The Sagittarius arm. Yeah, we're from the Orion Cygnus arm. Excuse me, I'm getting senile here. We are in the Orion Cygnus arm, and the Vaaach are from the Sagittarius arm, the next arm of the galaxy in from us. So anyway, all the life forms in our part of the Orion Cygnus arm are at about the same technological level, because everything that was ahead of us got wiped out, and everyone behind us, well, they're not on the interstellar stage yet. So that explains that. Now, also, one thing to think about the Vaaach is, maybe they didn't have any dark ages. We had the first, the Dark Age in the Eastern Mediterranean, when basically every civilization disappeared in what was about 1385 BC, something on that order. And then we had the better known Dark Ages, medieval period, where the Roman Empire fell in the West in 476 AD, and Western civilization basically ceased to advance for a long time. And it took about 1,000 years out of the march of progress right there. Well, say the Vaaach are 1,000 years ahead of us. That would explain it easily. Next question. Are you ever going to write a book about Admiral Hornmeyer? He's one of my favorite characters. Well, he's one of my favorite characters too. I love writing his dialogue. First, I have to get in a sort of mood to write it. I drink about 4 cups of coffee, and I bounce around the house a little bit, and I start cussing at the cat, and cussing at the furniture, and cussing at the sky, and cussing at the dust bunnies. Don't tell my wife I confess that there are dust bunnies occasionally in the house. Shh. Please don't say a word. Okay. You got that, right? Right, now, anyway, cussing at everything and anything, and running it down up one side the other, and coming up with more and more elaborate and creative and profane insults for it. And then when I'm going good, and I'm red in the face, and my blood pressure is elevated far above where my cardiologist would want it to be, then I attack the keyboard ferociously and write Admiral Hornmeyer's dialogue. Admiral Hornmeyer's dialogue. Blah, blah, blah. Try saying that 11 times fast. I love him. But write a whole book about him? I am very dubious about that working. Admiral Hornmeyer is kind of like Tabasco sauce. A little bit is great. In my case, more than a little bit, because, I'm half Cajun and my taste buds are acclimated to a somewhat more piquant uh, cuisine. But a whole book of him, that's like putting too much Tabasco sauce in the gumbo. It becomes inedible. So I think Admiral Hornmeyer is going to remain a very important but secondary and background character. He's better like as a looming omnipresence in the sky for everyone to be afraid of and for everyone to make jokes about doing things with celerity than to have him appear more than a few pages every now and then. That's the last of the questions that I have, or at least the questions I have that are worthy of this forum. I get a lot of questions about really ridiculous things, or extremely nitpicky points of technology that are interesting to perhaps myself and a few engineers, but I don't think are of any concern for a general audience. So if you want to hear about those things, let me know in the comments below. You know where the comments are located, right down there. And so if you will let me know in the comments below, I'll address those. Or if you have questions of that sort, I will be happy to address those. Or any other kind of question about my writing process, about the novels, about the technology, about the races, about the universe, about any of that stuff, put it in the comments or send it to me in one of the many other channels of communication that I have open. But the comments to this video are a real good place for it, because then I don't have to worry about typing in email addresses and Twitter addresses and all that stuff in the description section. So that's all I have for you tonight. I hope that things turn out well for all of you. This is a difficult time for you. It's a difficult time for me. It is a difficult time for the entire human race. And I hope that this is an opportunity for us to pull together and to recognize what we have in common with one another, rather than focusing on the things that divide us from one another. Science fiction poses where we might go, what we might do, what things we might accomplish in the future. I hold out the highest hopes for that future. I want the stars for my descendants. I want the galaxy for my descendants. I want my great, 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 great grandchildren to be out there somewhere, finding new worlds, meeting other civilizations, and exploring the galaxy. And in order to get there, we have to get through this today. We have to get through this day, this week, this month, the rest of this year. We have to hold it together. Please do your part to hold it together. I'm going to do mine. So wherever, if I could say, this is supposed to be really the big end, and I can't even say it. Dry mouth here. This is neither coffee nor beer. It's an artificially flavored fruit punch powdered beverage. It's probably bad for me and destroying my liver or my kidneys or something. But hey, sometimes you can't even get soda pop. There was a run on beer at the Walmart. I thought I was trying to buy beer, but if I had, I might have been SOL. So anyway, wherever and whenever this may find you, good night, good luck, and as Frank Borman said on Apollo 8, may God bless all of you on the good earth.